Hello friends, Heidi here from Rain Country. God is good all the time, and I'm here for another Monday This and That video where I cover several different topics, leading you back to old videos, letting you know what's to come, making announcements of whatever I need to make announcements about, maybe even answering a few questions. So let's get to the topics of the day, starting off with the 3-year-old cheese and egg powders. So this is actually pumpkin powder. I'm going to set that over there, talk about that in a minute. But right here I have some cheddar powder that I made myself and egg powder from my own chicken's eggs. So I did both of these back in 2022 and actually have quite a bit. I have 6 jars, counting this one, quart jars of eggs, and then 5 quarts of the cheddar powder. So I have videos on both of these if you'd like to learn how I did it, where I also bring up some uses and how to store it so that it can still be good 3 years later. These particular ones are now in my kitchen, so these are the ones I am currently working through. Now, to be honest, I kind of forgot about both of them for a while, because with I having a better turnover of hens, the last couple of years I've had eggs through the winter, fresh eggs, so I haven't really needed to use these. But this year, right now I only have one laying hen. One of my 3 young hens, only one of them has started laying so far, and the other ones just seem to be taking longer to mature is all. They seem perfectly healthy, but at any rate, I thought, well, so I need to start using these eggs, so I better check them and see if they're still good. So these were both vacuum sealed, the eggs and the cheese. And so I opened them up and started using them, and they're great. In fact, though your powdered eggs, if you're cooking them up as a scrambled egg, as shown here where I added some like tomatoes and other stuff, the texture might be a little bit different, but the flavor can still be really, really good. My goal is mostly, though, as needed, is to just use them for baking. So I'm going to be making some more of those pumpkin cookies like you saw in last week's post, the Wednesday post, that I also linked to my recipe there. But in the video recipe, I'm showing using pumpkin puree, several years old, but now I use the pumpkin powder. I also will be using these eggs like this, and I've done that before. I've used these in cookies and other such. Any kind of baked goods you would add a raw egg to in the process. That is why when I dehydrate the eggs, people freak out about this. I dehydrate them at 115 degrees to make sure I keep them as raw as possible, so they're better for using, not just as a scrambled egg or an omelet, but for baking with. And then the cheddar is great. I'm kind of angry at myself that I forgot about I had this powdered cheddar, because let's say you're wanting to make an omelet or just a scrambled egg with cheese. You got your powdered eggs, you got your powdered cheese, you just throw it together, use either milk or water to rehydrate them, and it just cooks up real nice, beautifully. In fact, I would say these would both work really well in making a quiche, even though I've never tried it. So yeah, if you're interested, and along with some more ideas, please check out my videos that I'll be linking to in the description box down below by clicking on more or show more somewhere down here below the video screen. Now, let's talk a bit about the pumpkin powder. Now, I got smart and I finally got smart and put that piece of tape on there where I put the ratios. Well, I put it in ounces. So if I want a cup of pumpkin, I need 1 ounce of the powder to 7 ounces of water. And then I just let that sit. So that's how I make the cookies. So I just put it in a measuring cup, the 7 ounces of water, the 1 ounce of pumpkin. You can always increase the amount of pumpkin. Just let it soak for a little bit though first, because you don't want, it'll be just like with the eggs. They're going to be a little bit watery at first, but as you let it soak in the liquid, they will thicken up. So yeah, so that's what I did. Just put it in the bowl, and yeah, it works good. So today, since I'll be using the eggs, the powdered eggs in that as well, I'll be adding the powdered eggs to the pumpkin at the same time, and then adjusting the water to match up. Whatever that is, I'll put it here. I keep forgetting. I always have to go back and look it up. I need to do the same thing here. Put a little sticker on here so I remember. I think it's like a tablespoon of the egg powder to 2 tablespoons of water for each egg that you need, if I remember correctly. Some of these things, make sure that when you're watching videos like that, sometimes I forget to say certain things. I make sure to add it in text. And if I even forget to do that, I usually will put it in a pinned comment below the video. It seems like there's one of these. I think it was the eggs where I had to do that with. With the pumpkin powder in mind, I also wanted to bring up another experiment I tried with my fermentation starter bread that I've been making for months now, and I'm so happy with it. And coming up with new ways to use it more, trying to be a little more creative, so it's not always the boring loaf bread, but something different now that I feel comfortable with using it. So I had seen, I don't know where it was. I don't have TikTok, so it definitely wasn't a TikTok video. I've never watched TikTok. I think it was on Instagram or something where I saw one of those quick shorts where somebody was taking a loaf of, I think it was sourdough, and making it look like a pumpkin by tying twine around the spherical shape that they had made out of the dough, and then cut little designs on the side. And I'm like, that's really cute. And then stuck a cinnamon stick in the top after the bread was done. And so then it looks like a pumpkin. So I did that. And you might have already seen the images I posted on, in some other places, but I'll have a clip here and some more images so you can see what it looked like. Part of the reason it looks so dark is because not only is it shaped like a pumpkin, it actually is pumpkin cinnamon bread. So taking my same recipe for making the bread, which I'll link to that down below, showing, where I give my instructions on how I make the fermentation starter bread. So using no dry yeast, just my own homemade fermentation starters from whatever I have, whether it be a rhubarb fermentation starter, a honeysuckle, which now I've converted to a calendula one. What's the other one? Raisin or dandelion, or actually that one's being converted to a ginger one now. So it doesn't matter. They're easy to make. You can do it yourself. Now you have a yeast you can use for either fermenting fruits, vegetables, wine, mead, or for even making bread. And so, I did the braided loaf. You might have seen that one. So that was one of my first new endeavors. And the next time I do it, I'm going to do 4 strands and maybe build up from there to braid. And then the pumpkin loaf. So because I wanted it to have a different flavor and not just a different shape, I really wanted it to have the flavor of pumpkin and cinnamon. I could have put in other spices, but I wanted to keep it simple. So when I threw in, I think about 4 tablespoons of the pumpkin powder into the as I was first starting it, it's very liquidy because I just added the warm water. And I decided to leave the seeds out of that one. And then I also added about a tablespoon of cinnamon and a little bit of sugar because I just wanted it to have a hint of sweetness, but not being really sweet. I wanted it to be able to go either way if somebody wanted it as just toast, because you cut it like a pie when you cut it, as you can see in this image right here. Or if they wanted it sweeter, what I really like doing is to warm it up a little bit and put some butter on there and then sprinkle some cinnamon sugar on there. So it's kind of more cinnamon rolly tasting, but not quite so sweet. Really, really good. So it was a fun experiment, and I love how beautiful it turned out. So working with the different powders, the pumpkin, the cheese, the egg, and anything else like my rhubarb powder and so on is always fun when I'm able to try something new with it. And I was really, really happy with the pumpkin cinnamon loaf. I think next time I do it, I'll probably add a little clove and a little nutmeg to it as well. And maybe just a little more sugar to increase the sweetness of it. Maybe. I don't know. I kind of like keeping it where it can go either way, savory or sweet. So moving on from there, I want to show you that, and I forgot I was going to look this up on Amazon and see if I could find these on Amazon, but I got these at Azure Standard. But anyway, I just thought these were really nice. I wanted to give them a try. for people who are wanting to get away from using the plastic. Now, I like the plastic, and I do put the silicone liners in there because of the different colors you can get to help sort of recognize, okay, what is this in my cupboard? But these are very sturdy. They're made very well. And so you're getting the stainless steel plus the silicone liner. So you could use these on your vinegars when they're done or anything else. They're going to get a good seal. The stainless steel should prevent rust or corrosion better than your regular canning lids and bands would. That's my guess. I haven't tried it for the vinegar yet. I usually just use the the dark so-called leak-proof ones on my vinegar with the silicone liner, and that will seal them good so that the oxygen can't get in and convert it to nasty water. That only happens with vinegar that is raw, that hasn't been distilled. If you have your vinegar distilled, it's not a concern. Another thing I wanted to bring up were you might have seen my post on the Bible cover, and people were asking me if I had a pattern or instructions. I might eventually do a video. I don't know. This is what the inside looks like. And this one, I use the cross stitch. So it's a double crochet, but it's a cross stitch pattern. That's how you get that kind of look to it. And you can add a button with a closure to it or not. That's just up to you. I like having the handles. The reason I make these covers like this is, and for my smaller Bibles, is for easy carry when I'm going to church. And here's the other one I made out of black. This is just all single crochets. So for this one, I just single crocheted the whole thing, starting from one edge and going all the way around. And then I crochet the handles right onto there. I didn't bother doing a closure for this one, and button. And then just a chain stitch with a little fringy on the bottom that I tie to the top of the cover, and there's my markers right there. Now, I've made a lot of these over the years, and I have done ones, I'll show a couple pictures here of some older ones I had made, where I put a pocket on the front for putting highlighters, pens, and the like. And that's another option. But at any rate, people were asking me for a pattern. Well, the original pattern I had found years ago, just typing in crochet patterns or free crochet patterns for a Bible cover or for sweaters, or that's how I got a lot of my original patterns. But I rarely use a lot of those anymore, because now with the Bible cover, I make it up as I go, because I'm using the Bible itself, because every Bible is a little bit different in size. So I'm using the Bible itself as my guide to get the size, because these two Bibles here are kind of smaller in size. This is Patrick's old King James Bible, and the main reason I have a cover for that is because it's actually pretty old, and the cover is a little beat up, and seems like it's missing a part of something somewhere. So this is just to help keep it more protected. And then this, of course, is for mostly not only to protect it when I'm carrying it around, but for, easy carry. Also, I want to share, I don't have pictures. I had made years ago a Bible cover for my mother out of some colors she was really into at the time, purples, teals, blues, and it turned out beautiful. I wish I would have had pictures of it, because I also crocheted little flowers, appliques that I stitched onto the front of the cover. But at any rate, you can take it and go with it any way you want, but it's really simple. And if you really want a pattern, just do the same thing I did years ago, because I don't know that I'll find that old pattern to be able to give you a link to. Just type in free Bible cover patterns or free crochet Bible cover patterns into your browser, and you should pull up all kinds, because I did it real quick to see if I could find the original one. I'm like, wow, there's so many out here, and some that are a little different. I mean, they're basically all the same, but some have some added doodads that you might find interesting. So I'm like, people just do their own search, they will find it free. Just put in the word free if you don't want to have to pay for it, because there's plenty of free patterns out there. All right, so the last thing I want to cover is I did a couple of videos on this a few years ago. And I'm going to link to both of them down below because I put a lot more information in those than what I'm going to be able to share with you in this video because of all the different topics. But this is in regards to quinine and quercetin. So several years ago, there was a big misconception that was being spread about quinine coming from grapefruit peels and people making their own quinine out of grapefruit peels. And I have to tell you, that is not true. It was a misconception. Now, when you understand the details, it's actually an understandable misconception. Well, because for one, the name quinine and quercetin both start with QU. And that could be one thing that gets people confused. Even though quinine is an alkaloid and quercetin is a flavonoid, they are both zinc ionophores, if I'm saying the word right, which means they help to carry the zinc into the cells. So they can have a very similar function at helping to fight certain illnesses. And that's where the part of the confusion comes from. But the grapefruit, that is high. The grapefruit peels, or pretty much any citrus peels, those are high in quercetin. So that's, again, you can see why all the different crossovers could make it confusing. But because of the fact that one or two people spread this misinformation, maybe they were just using the incorrect word, maybe they had read it somewhere, and now you got people making videos and sharing this information and coming into comments like one of my videos where someone said, well, you can make quinine out of grapefruit peels recently, and I haven't seen anyone say that in a long time. I'm like, actually, that isn't quite correct, but it's an understandable mistake. Tried to be as nice about it as possible because we all do that, right? We all do it. Anyway, I suggest you go check out those videos I did there, because I can't remember which one came first, but I'll try to put them in order because there was one and then someone came in and argued with me. And so I did a little more research just to clarify that I was understanding what I thought I knew correctly and looking at scientific pages, finding out what was what, and then I just clarified it even more in the follow-up video because I didn't want to just say, oh, well, you're wrong. Thinking, well, maybe I'm the one that read something wrong. Nope, I did do further research even deeper and found out that definitely quinine is not in grapefruit peel, but quercetin is. Either way, it's a great way. It's a great thing. You can make a grapefruit peel extract, tincture, or basically a really thick tea out of it, a decoction is what I'm trying to say. And you're still going to get the really great benefits at helping to fight viruses, flus, and so on. It's just pretty bitter, just so you know. Oh, and one more thing before I go. I want to remind everybody, as of last week, I just got into the first week of only publishing 4 videos a week, which is Monday, Tuesday, Thursday, Friday. So I actually started spreading them out like that about 6 weeks ago. And I kind of was trying to warn people this is going to happen because I want to try it out for a couple months. Part of it is an experiment to see if anything will change. But also to just kind of take a little stress off of me. And it has been nice the past several weeks having at least one less thing to have to stress over, getting 5 videos out every week. But my promise is that I'm going to try to do is every Wednesday when I don't have a video coming out is to put a post that will link back to another video. It'll be like a picture of something I'm doing, such as the cheese or an extract I'm making or an oil, and then link back to some videos that could be very helpful so you can learn how to do it as well. So Wednesdays, that's my goal. But also to keep Wednesdays open in case I have a sudden idea of a video I'd like to get out right away. Now I have a place to put it without having to rearrange everything like I typically was having to do. So this will make that a lot easier on me that way. So, or if Patrick ever has time to get back to shooting videos, I'll have a place to put his. It's kind of rare these days he has time to do that, but when he does, if he's got a good project going on he wants to do a video on, it gives me a place I can still publish them. So anyway, I hope you enjoyed my this and that for the week. Don't forget to check out those links in the description box down below to learn more about these various different topics. And please share your thoughts and ideas in comments down below. Remember, that helps kind of get me in the algorithms. I'm going back down again, guys, because YouTube is still trying to wipe my channel out. But anyway, everything you can do, that likes, comments, shares, whatever, any of that will help. And make sure, always check to see if you're still subscribed, because they've been deleting a lot of my subscribers yet again. Very frustrating. That means a lot of people are not seeing my content and assume I'm not making it anymore. So thanks for watching. Take care and God bless.